Hello, it's Mark Attwood here. Mark Attwood Show, Adventures in the Cosmic Soup. It is Monday, the 31st of January. Would you Adam and Eve it? I did a liver flush last night. It was very interesting. Didn't eat for 24 hours. I highly recommend it, actually. It's not as bad as it sounds, although I might have to clean the toilet later. But on that subject, it's all about our bodies, our souls, our minds, everything. And I'm very pleased to bring back Melissa Turnock in Australia. How's it going, Mel?
G'day, mate. It's good, thank you. I can't help that one, sorry.
Neither can I. It's been a while since we spoke, actually. Where's it going?
Oh, I don't know. Like that. It's freaky.
It seems like 10 minutes since you were going on about how bad it was there in Sydney, and then having to leave your job because of this, and that seems like 5 minutes ago, but also a million years ago. But how's it been? How's it going down there? I say down there, across there,
over there. It's got a very two-world split feeling now. There is clearly a lot of very entrenched people, and it's probably the same everywhere, that are, really digging their heels in and really doing this. And then there's more and more of us that are, feels like readying ourselves for what's coming next. There's a bit of trucker action going on, and cars, and there was a big convoy like in the other, Dominion
Canada.
country. But there is a definite attitude in the Aussies, like, unless it's in my front yard, I don't give a crap about what's going on. And that's got to play out big time before this country's going to change a lot, I think, unfortunately.
Sounds a very similar story across the planet. I was speaking to someone in California today, exactly the same thing. Amazing. But you are doing positive things in the world. And what are you going to tell us about today? Because you've got something new coming up, haven't you?
Yeah. We all have a mission. We've all come here to do something. And the really exciting thing about the schmozzle that we've all been, pushed through, and we'll probably continue for a bit longer, is we're being given the opportunity to get rid of the stuff that isn't who we're all about, and really get on our 2 feet and find out what we friggin' came here for. Because it's clear to all of us that we signed up for some sort of piece of the puzzle in all of this. And Mark, you're doing your bit and I'm doing my bit. And it is that collective energy. One of the things that I'm seeing a lot of in the communities that we like to hang out with is this real interest in the quantum and the Galactic Federation of Light, and channeling this being and getting out your tarot cards. And that's awesome. It's fun, right? We came here to have fun, like in Claire's videos. We're not having so much fun anymore. So what needs to start to happen more often, Mark, is people need to realize that escaping into those other realms, getting intel from those realms, tuning in, having the healing sessions, it's all awesome. And we all do it because we cannot do this human lark alone. We've tried for a long time, and we're realizing now we need each other. But we have to be really careful that is not all of that sort of activity, and listening to this YouTuber and having this healing session isn't an escape route, right? It's not us bypassing our own individual human vessel experience. And we all do it because it's much more comfortable to not feel, to keep the stuff bottled up inside. And that gets reinforced and praised. We contain it in, and we don't cause a ruckus, and we don't ruffle anyone's feathers. Problem is that creates a real issue in our body. And when we hold on to that stuff, we are decreasing our access to the light, and we're talking about that in Jeremy's program. We are keeping ourselves stuck in the past, but yet trying to be in this new world at the same time. So we have to pay attention, not just from a dietary perspective, not just for not putting chemicals on my face and finding a new type of deodorant that's good for the world, but what is happening inside your body. And until we actually address our nervous system and the state that it's in and become aware, that's the first step, just becoming aware of your internal experience. What's going on with my emotions? Is there some stuff I'm ignoring? Because that's going to be an obstacle to what is possible for you at that multidimensional level. And you can probably feel in your body already the difference with attending to what you feed your body with. But that's one part. It's like our nervous system is an electrical infrastructure of our body. And it's like, you know, it's that kind of reactivity, that triggering. We see it everywhere. If you are in that state too, it doesn't matter how many friggin' cards you read or how many quantum healing sessions you have, you are stuck in that terrain internally.
Yeah, I agree with that. By the way, I just got to tell anybody watching this that sees flashing going on, it's this new camera. I don't think it's anything supernatural. It might be. It might be super. Who knows? Yeah. Just I'll get loads of comments. Oh, you see that flash in 3 minutes? Yeah, well, I've certainly started paying attention to my body, not just the food. I mean, this is why I did the Maximize the Light challenge with Jeremy, because it felt time. The last few years have been high adrenaline. I've been running off adrenos and basically dying without realizing it, and decided if I don't fix this now, I won't be here for the Great Awakening. No, and then what was the point of all this? So yeah, it is time to face the body, which is why I started talking about the liver flush at the start of the show, because that was a big step for me last night. Quite a profound one, actually. So what do you work with people all the time? Are you seeing a similar sort of thing? Are you seeing people starting to, because there's a shift in gears going on. Definitely a shift in gears going on. And this whole experience that we're all having is very much a personal experience. It's a very personal experience. It's not, although we're talking about what's going on in the world, what's going on in our neighborhood, what's going on with our friends and family, it's actually really personal. Everybody's having a very, very personal experience. And so, and the body is I certainly I've neglected my body for years, and I used to be super fit and everything else. Used to love it when I was a kid, but I had time to then. How do you and I think this is the biggest issue. How do you take care of yourself properly if you're in a state of fight or flight, if you're super busy, if you're a single parent, I'm ticking all these boxes myself. You have to actually take some time to do that, don't you? You have to actually sit and be with yourself. And so what are you advising people to do to get into a better state?
Well, it doesn't have to be an hour out of your time. It, first of all, has to be an awareness that you are not in a state of equilibrium very often, that you are being pulled into levels of stress. Until we're actually aware it's a problem, this stuff can go on for years, right? And we think we're doing a good job. It might actually take disease or some significant life event for people to wake up. And this is what I really see now. I had breast cancer. We all get something which is an escalation of the body trying to communicate with us. So we have to just listen. And it might just be a busy person can just sit down and just for 2 or 3 minutes, how am I doing? And become aware. It's so simple, actually. The breath is the easiest way in. If you're literally going to do anything, it's a physical pause and just start to notice the whirringness and pay attention to it and send it love and just take 3 deep breaths. That's the very simplest thing you can do. But it becomes like a wheel that goes on and potentially goes on for years. So in the back of your mind, you ultimately know that this is not sustainable long term. So you're getting cross with yourself, and it's this awful, awful cycle. But being in standing, going out and standing on the grass, and we've talked about this gazillion times, like just 5 minutes will completely shift your energy being out in nature. But the most important thing is people need to start integrating some sort of nervous system practice, because our nervous system, our digestive system, our respiratory system, our reproductive system, all of these parts of us should be able to work in harmony. And if you are perpetually in survival stress, you are absolutely depleting your body, depriving it of its power to digest effectively. So it has to come with awareness, and then an acceptance that things are out of kilter, and I'm just going to change one thing. What can I do in this moment to help myself calm down? And it shifts like that, because right now, with what's happening with the progression and the change of the energy, is this stuff is so much more accessible if we're open to it. And people like you and I are kind of what I feel like are the first wavers. We've almost prepared the foundation a little bit. So anybody that steps into this arena energetically now has going to have a firmer foundation to hold on to, because people like us have been doing this sort of thing for a long time, right? It's no accident that we started to become aware 5 or 10 years before what's happening now, because we came here to get the readiness happening. So my piece is teaching people about, you can't keep ignoring the uncomfortable emotions, and you have to address your nervous system, and then let's play with the energy.
Mm.
Right? And you don't have to go away on a yoga retreat for a weekend. You can do this in a 2-minute little sit still and listen to some sort of audio that guides you into paying attention to your nervous system. That's an easy thing to do.
Well, and often these things are really easy. I mean, I had the pleasure of spending a day with a guy called Stephen Russell about maybe 10 years ago. He was known as the Barefoot Doctor. If you're watching this, go and look up Barefoot Doctor books, because he was ahead of the curve, way ahead, and he wrote a load of books based on Taoism, but for sort of urbanites. And he was a really cool guy, but unfortunately he died. I think he died last year. And there's a number of things he taught me, and one of them was just a really simple thing about actually speaking to your organs. And it's something that I still do, and just giving thanks. I mean, I was talking to my liver last night going, listen, I know you've been around. I know I've abused you. I know I've been a bit of a cunt, but I'm really sorry. And now I'm going to give you a treat. I'm going to give you a load of Epsom salts and then a load of olive oil.
Yeah, chug it down.
but I did have the conversation with my liver, and they do respond. And the heart, especially, my heart has been broken many times, but I'm still here. And I don't know how. I've been in intensive care with this before, and I'm still here. So, and he taught me that. But I remember when he first taught me, I thought this is a bit strange, talking to your organs at the time. But it stays, and it's just a simple thing. And if you just give a bit of gratitude, standing barefoot, absolutely. I've been talking to people on this show about grounding forever. It makes all the difference.
Yeah.
I had talking about balance. I had an AO scan. Have you heard of that before?
No.
I had this done just before Christmas, and I'm desperately trying to remember the name of the woman. She's on Facebook, but I'm locked out of Facebook. By the way, if anybody, I've seen I'm getting millions of messages and things on Facebook. I can't see any of them. I'm completely locked out because my phone was hacked, and it's a long story. But I had an AO scan done, which is kind of like a quantum scan. Here's me talking. You talking about keeping it simple, but there's me going on about these scans. But what was really interesting about it is it broke the whole body down in every single, even down to big veins in the brain, every part of the body. And it was perfect timing for me, because God has been trying to get me to alter my ways for a very long time. He has sent messengers, different people, different approaches. And the thing is with Jeremy Ayres is that was the perfect message for me to do this thing. and it was perfect for him to get his message out with me, and then doing it together has just been an amazing experience so far, and it is for, I think we've got 450 people on that course now. This is crazy,
Wow.
and they're all, so I've got to keep doing it because they're there watching. accountability,
Scrutinized.
accountability. I can't sneak off down the down the pub or anything.
No. But that's awesome. Like it's super uncomfortable, like what we're doing with this program, because I'm going to do my liver flush tonight. It's uncomfortable, but what it's doing is clearing out the debris. Now, if you can build a relationship with your liver, then you're starting to listen. And it's like Jeremy says, it wants you to thrive. And this is what breast cancer taught me. Your body is literally on your team and wants you to thrive. If I can heal from chemo, and I'll never forget the day, the first injection, the nurse had a friggin' mask on and gloves, and she was kitted out in blue. And she comes up to you with a needle and she's putting that stuff into you, but yet she's actually got gloves on. Now, if your body can synthesize and process that, it's clearly on your team. You can bounce back from that. And if you listen to the lesson, and I think what happens is a lot of people get a lot of really shit lessons, but they just keep ignoring. It's much easier to pretend it's not happening. But we're not going to get anywhere spiritually or emotionally or be able to jump on board with a heart-centered approach to things if our body is in resistance and not with us. One of the things that I often do is, and we can use duality as a good little hack in terms of emotional overwhelm. That's a really big one right now. If we really think about what's going on and we've got our own life to deal with, we can get overwhelmed. I stand up and I stand in a spot and I let myself feel the overwhelm, and it's fucking uncomfortable, but it's actually just a wave of energy moving through your body. And this is what people don't get about emotions. It's just a wave of energy. You're not going to get pulled back down into the scenario, and you're not going to be a puddle on the floor. It's a wave of energy that wants to move through you. You stand in it and you just feel like right now I'm dealing with lawyers. I'm trying to sell a house. I'm worried that the world is about to collapse. Have I missed the boat? Like all of that could potentially pull me under and have me collapse. But it's there. I feel it and I let it, and I just like let it move through me, and I make sound and I let my hands shake. And then I take one big step to the side into another circle on the floor, which is the exact opposite of that feeling. Because we're in a world of duality. And that is gratitude that I have a house to sell, that I'm not in hospital with a respirator stuck to my body, that the sun just came out, that I know people like Mark Attwood and all the amazing people I met on your group. And I coat my nervous system in a balm of gratitude and love. It's because if you can be at that end of the spectrum, Mark, you can be at that end as well. We just don't know it. So that's a really simple practice that I do regularly. And it's literally a flip of a switch. Now, I can do that because I'm practiced at it. I've been working on my nervous system for years. For other people, it would be a smaller kind of step. But these are all the things that are possible. And that's what our body is here for, to help us remember that we are God. And so I'm going to practice that in increments. You know, if I go and learn how to be a golfer, it ain't going to happen in one lesson.
Oh no, I've been doing that for 30 years. I'm still not a golfer. No,
that's kind of like where I would never put my energy. But you get the idea. Everything takes time. Unraveling our emotions takes time. We've got to be patient with ourselves, and divine timing is really important, as you just said.
It is, yeah. You have to follow your gut. So what are you offering? What are you because you're offering something to people to join you on this to connect.
Yeah. So we need to come into community. Look what happens every time you form a group of like-minded people. So I'm running a boot camp, Earth Boot Camp 2022, because the ships haven't come yet. No one's taking us off anywhere. We are here, and we all have a part to play in letting go of the old and creating the new. So I'm going to be running a boot camp, and it runs over 11 days because I love ones. And in that 11 days, we're going to have 3 training calls. They're going to go for 90 minutes each. And I'm going to have them maybe 4 or 5 days apart. So this is all over in 11 days. And it's going to be coming together on a screen like this. And from the very get-go, we're going to start to tune into and work with nervous system, emotions, and then energetic mastery. And I want people to get off that call with an aha moment about, that's what I've been up to, and a tool or 3 to be able to stay present and sane, because it's only in the present moment that we can make any difference in what's going on. If we're not in the present moment, Mark, we miss the info, right? We miss the guidance. So teaching people how to be in the present moment and be with what's there is what this boot camp is all about. So then you can just address it. Love that part of you that's stuck in being unloved, because 90% of the time, that's it. There is a part of you that didn't receive love when they need it, so you held on to it. You get to be that lover of self. You get to attend to each of those parts of yourself. Nervous system, emotions, and then we can play with the energy. Then we can get all woo-woo and multi-fucking-dimensional, but the body has to be part of that. There has to be clear flow of energy. The photons have to be being attended and received. Then I'm going to do a 4th bonus call, which is going to be a live coaching call. And I'm going to give people that are in the bootcamp the opportunity to get one-on-one specific coaching about what's happening for them, with the rest of the group obviously in attendance. Because you're right, there is a microcosm and there is a macrocosm. We are all playing our little individual part, which is just a microcosm of what's happening collectively. And it's a bit comforting, isn't it, when you see that it's all actually, it's not just me that's going nuts.
Oh, well, you know, it makes such a, especially where everybody's been so isolated, having, you know, the groups that we've got going on with Monetize and Maximize and Telegram channel is just amazing. And it's not real. It's not proper human contact in a room, but it's good. It's been a real tonic for a lot of people, including me. And I think it's a fantastic thing. And if I, you know, I'm always doing things. I'm off on a trip tomorrow to go and see a woman that's built an oxygen center where she's got these chambers which produce ozone under pressure, which are very, very good for the body. And she cured herself with one of these machines, and now she's trying to bring them. And she's set it up as a charity. She just wants to heal people, you know. So I'm spending the whole day going to check this out, have a look at it, thinking about bringing one here, because I just want to, you know, it's not a case of setting up a business. It's a case of buy a machine that helps people set it up and then see who needs it. And it's not just machines, it's boot camps, it's courses, it's whatever people can do right now to help themselves. But then the more you help other people, the more you help yourself as well, because that creates...
And the other way around. Yeah. The more you look after you, like I used to think that ripple effect of affecting others, like, oh, how would that work? But I get it now, because, and that whole we are all connected thing, it's making sense now, isn't it? So if I heal a part of myself, not only do I tangibly send that energy out into my inner circle and the people that I'm with, but I'm actually doing it. We're doing it on behalf of everyone else that isn't quite ready to do it. And that's the fucking magic part of it. What we are doing is for everyone. And that's why I don't get bothered when people say, oh, you're a far right user of Telegram. That shit doesn't even stick.
Do people say that?
Know, a friend of mine said that the other day. She said,
if you're on Telegram, you're far right. I've never heard
isn't
that
that far right thing? And I was like, okay, block. Anyway, so that shit doesn't stick, because we know that we are doing this in service to others, and my healing is your healing. And that you can sit back and you can rest back in the arms of that, because it's like, this is not all up to me. He's doing his bit, it's helping me, my bit's helping, and that's the way it's working. And that's that web that we've all dreamt of having. And we've all got a little piece of what we bring to it. And you will listen to someone talk and you'll get a full body, yes, I need to do that. But then you'll hear someone else talk about something. It's like, no, that's not for me. That discernment, that's what we get access to when we de-rubble the body, when we actually teach our nervous system what equanimity feels like. Equanimity is that present moment. But there's no way we're going to be able to live our life from that place, in and out, of course. There's no way we can live our life from that place if we are full of stuff. And getting that stuff out is hyper speeding our access to so much more. And most importantly, self-love. Without self-love, I don't give a shit how many healing sessions you have. If you don't have divine reverence for yourself as God, as a soul in human form, and all of its foibles, you will get stuck in that loop, right? And can you feel that self-love, Mark, now that you're paying attention to your body and what it needs? It is a love affair, and it has to start here, and then you can take it out.
Ooh, yeah. I mean, I'm falling in love with my body again, and it's a wonderful thing. You know, because a few years ago I was like, oh, that's all over. I'm done. You know, separated, finished, washed up, blah blah blah. Drinking, been there, and here I still am, and I'm like, hang on, I've got to sort this out. You know, I've worked on all the spiritual stuff, I've worked on all the intellectual stuff, I've worked on all the business stuff. I'm doing the best I can in every area of my life except me.
Yeah.
And that's really been a big thing for me in the last month. Well, longer, 2 months really. And it just seems, like I said, it just seems like it's the right time.
Yeah, it is. And you attract to you those that will complement and support your journey. You know, when you're stuck in the other stuff, there's a repelling that happens. The kind of people that you want to be with or whatever, that if the energies don't match, you know, it's like you walk in the room and you just like, I'm going to talk to that person, and you come alive in that person's company. That's what we're getting access to more and more when we address our body and what it needs, you know, on all those levels.
Yeah. Frequency matching. That's what I call it.
Yeah. And your frequency's off if you're drinking a lot, or you're suppressing your emotions, or you're resentful to the government. You know, I think we all of us probably in 2020 and 2021 got a bit rah-rah and a bit fu to everything. But that's an energy that isn't conducive to bringing through what we came here to do. So we had to go through that phase. And now it's like an inside job, and we can emanate that out, and it's a guiding light, and it's such a fucking relief because we don't have to pay attention to all that stuff.
Absolutely. Well, what are you calling this? What are you calling this boot camp?
Earth Boot Camp 2022.
Well, I've been listening to you speaking for half an hour, and I think you should call it the Schmozzle multi-fucking dimensional boot camp.
That comes after you do the Earth bit, right? Get the Earth bit sorted, and then we'll go fucking Schmozzle Wandoozy out there. Let's do it all for boot camp, which is essentially
that's a theme park I'd pay to go to.
Imagine that. Imagine the cool people we find there.
Schmozzle Land.
Oh dear, it's all possible, right? You know, your clairvoyance, you're tuning into Ascended Master Doobie Watsy. That all comes when this beautiful vessel is clear and free, and it can flow through you.
Your body is an instrument; it needs to be tuned.
Yeah.
And you can't do it all here. You have to look after this.
Yeah. And we have to be full of fucking compassion. That's the other thing. When we see those around us that are doing all the other stuff, they know no different. And this holier than thou thing that we have towards them, like you can feel the sting in your tail now about how that ain't what it is either.
No.
When we can cultivate compassion, and that has to come from a compassionate place within us, everything is a little easier as well. And it doesn't mean being, you know, buddies with everyone, but it just means being able to see where they're at. And, you know, we're all at different parts in this schmozzle. We're all in different angles, and, you know, we're all right where we need to be, and we all signed up for this role. We all signed up to take the thing or not take the thing, all of that. So when we find out what we have capacity to access, why wouldn't we want to increase our frequency? Oh my goodness, why wouldn't we? It's so good.
It is good. Yeah, it's really good. Right. Well, that's brilliant. I'm going to put a link down below in the description to for anybody that's interested in getting on this with Mel, which would be great. I know you'll do a great job. It's really good to see you.
You too.
I'm making dinner for the kids tonight, so it's not going to be too long, but it's fantastic to see you. Everybody watching, go and click the link below. Join Mel. Let me know how you get on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll
Thank you,
see you
Mark.
later. Yeah.
Yeah. Look after your liver. Give it some love.
Yeah. This is, I'm saving its ass. It knows it. It owes me a drink. Oh, maybe that's not the right thing to say. Anyway,
No.
see you later, Mel.
Thank you. Bye.
Take care. See everybody.